कीर्केगार्ड ने अपने 18 अपबिल्डिंग डिस्कोर्सेस 1843 और 44 में लिखे, और ये डिस्कोर्सेस पहले डैनिश से इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट किए गए इन द 1940s, फिर डैनिश से जर्मन में ट्रांसलेट किए गए इन द 1950s, और फिर इसकी सेकंड इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेशन इमर्ज हुई इन 1990। ये डिस्कोर्सेस पब्लिश किए गए अलॉन्ग विद सम ऑफ हिज अदर सिडोनिमस वर्क्स। लास्ट डिस्कोर्स में कीर्केगार्ड बात करता है अबाउट द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ पेशेंस एंड हाउ टू अटेन इट, बट इन दिस डिस्कोर्स वो बात करता है अबाउट हाउ टू सस्टेन और प्रिजर्व दैट पेशेंस इन योर सोल। कीर्केगार्ड यहाँ पे 3 मिसालें देता है ऑफ पीपल हु आर रिएक्टिंग टू एंग्जाइटी एंड डिस्पेयर, एंड all of them as praiseworthy as the physical endurance to defeat an external enemy. इन 3 मिसालों में से वो पहले इंसान के बारे में कहता है that he is one person, he is such a person who surveyed everything and the horrifying situation. How quickly presence of mind assuredly chose the right thing as if it were the fruit of the most mature reflection. How the will, even the eyes, defied the threatening terrors. How the body did not even feel the exertion, the agonizing suffering. How the arms lightly carried the burden that far exceeded human strength. How the feet stood firm where others did not dare to look down because they saw the abyss. He says that another person discovered a danger while all speak of peace and security. If he discerned the horror and after having used the healthiest power of his soul to make himself fully aware of it, again with the horror before his eyes, now developed and preserved the same strength of soul as the one who fought in peril of his life, the same inwardness as the one who fought with death, yes, then we shall praise him. And in 3 में से लास्ट एग्जाम्पल के बारे में वो कहता है कि this third man, he was with troubled imagination and he conjured up anxieties he was unable to surmount, while he still could not leave off staring at them, evoking them ever more alarmingly, pondering them ever more fearfully. Then we shall not praise him, even though we praise the wonderful glory of human nature. But if he brought out the horror and detected the mortal danger without any thought of providing people by pointless talk, with subject matter for pointless pondering, but grasped that the danger had to do with himself, if then, with this in mind, he won the strength of soul that horror gives, this would in truth be praiseworthy, would in truth be wondrously wonderful. अब ये जो act of self-discovery है, this is the essence of what Kierkegaard wrote about. वो कहता है कि हम prone हैं to earthly dangers, but these are only external dangers. But we suffer from another danger which is more internal, which is the loss of our souls. So we're continually suffering through that. We're continually struggling through that in order to not lose our soul. वो explain करता है इसको इन अल्फाजों में. He says, what is truly worth preserving? It could not be something temporal, inasmuch as for life's sake it probably would be desirable to preserve it. But how could one wish to preserve it for death's sake, since it is precisely that which one abandons in death, which without envy and without preference makes everyone equally poor, equally powerless, equally miserable, the one who possessed a world and the one who had nothing to lose, the one who left behind a claim upon a world and the one who was in debt for a world, the one whom thousands obeyed and the one whom no one knew except death, the one whose loveliness was the object of people's admiration, and the poor wretch who sought only a grave in order to hide from people. It would have to be something eternal then that the discourse was about, or more accurately, what it could truly be about. And in a single word, what else could that be but a person's soul? यहाँ पे वो कह रहा है कि जो loss of one's soul, it is much more horrifying than any other loss. He says that in these words. If a man did lose his earthly treasure, he presumably would seek to console himself for the loss. He would avoid any reminder of past glory, which would now only cause him pain, and in this way he probably would win peace of mind again. But if someone by being lost himself had lost his soul, then he could not avoid recollection in this way, because the loss would continually be with him through time and eternity in perdition. But such perdition is truly horrible. If someone lost his earthly treasure, it would still be lost only for this life, perhaps not permanently, but even if this did happen, death would still reconcile him to the loss and remove it from him when in the moment of death he became like one who previously had not lost anything. But if he lost his soul, it would be lost for all time and for eternity. If he lost it for a single moment, it would be lost permanently, and death would be unable to help him, but precisely for death's sake he is bound to wish to have preserved it and to preserve it. He ends the discourse with these words. He says, "To preserve one's soul in patience, that is, to hold it in the power of patience so that it does not slip away when the terrible struggle is with the eternal, with God, and with oneself, because this struggle is such that the person who loses the eternal loses God and himself, and the person who loses God loses the eternal and himself, and the person who loses himself loses the eternal and God. This is indeed the way it is, as the simple person easily understands, and the educated person could only demand that it be made somewhat more difficult so that he might better understand it."